Victory or death!
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready? Prepare for blastoff.
Victory at us, Starfighters. My name is Carlin Jones, and this is a Starfighter full movie podcast. And today we are going to be watching the 2017 fantasy adventure film, Shape of Water. Now, initially, this wasn't my... I've already seen this movie. Let me just start with that. I've already seen this movie, and initially I didn't really like it. I was under the impression that this was like a prequel to Hellboy, and anyone who has seen Hellboy or loves that movie can understand why. But initially, this movie is requested by my special guest today, who says that she didn't like or she says she's never seen it. She's never seen this movie. So my special guest today is Noor.
Hey everyone.
Noor, we go pretty far back, don't we?
Yes, we do. The year is a little bit debatable, but we do go far back.
How far back do we
go? I would say 20-something years.
20-something years?
Yeah.
That's right. We did go to elementary school together, huh?
Yes, we did.
You remember that first day that we met?
Sure.
I remember like it was yesterday. When I start telling you the story, I'm sure you'll be like, a light bulb's going to go off.
They're just going to come up? All right, yeah. So tell me, how did we meet?
I remember. Yeah, I remember it was, I want to say third grade. No, let's say fourth grade, right? I think it was fourth grade.
Grade 1, but okay.
Well, I wasn't at that elementary school until third grade.
Really?
Yeah. I know a lot of the people we went to school with went there from first grade or either kindergarten until elementary school was over. But I came late. I was like in a whole bunch of different elementary schools as a kid.
Oh, okay.
So I remember I was in the cafeteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing my thing, I was a cool guy. Mm-hmm. I was super popular. And I remember you came up to me and you're like, "Excuse me, but you are so cool. If you can just teach me, like, I just want to be as cool as you." And normally when people approach me like that, it's a little bit off-putting because I'm not used to a lot of people saying I'm cool. Well, kind of, but I was just really taken back by it. You wanted me to teach you how to be cool. You wanted a friend, and naturally, I could only say the only thing that felt natural to me when someone asks me to teach them how to be cool or to be their friend, which is no.
Right. I knew where this was going.
No, but all seriously, we've known each other. I want to say we've known each other since third grade, but we didn't talk to each other until like fourth or fifth grade.
Yeah, I did leave Atlanta in fifth grade. So it was, probably fourth or fifth where we really got to like talking and get to know each other. Right. We used to be in Miss K's class together.
Miss K, I remember that.
Yeah, even when I came back from like Atlanta for a few years, I had found her email and her address, and I remember we used to email back and forth, and I actually sent her like a few like cards for like the holiday times or whatnot. But then kind of lost contact. But she was a really good teacher.
Well, that's not creepy. You just found her address and just like start sending her stuff.
No, I think she had given me her address when we left.
Your story's changing. Your story's changing.
Well, either way, I had her address, whether I found it or it was given to me.
Okay, well, that's not creepy at all. But It is very amazing to have you on this podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah, and you said that you've never seen Shape of Water.
No, I don't even know what it's about. I've never seen the trailer for this. And if I did, I don't remember it.
Right. But a lot of people at the time of 2017 were talking about this movie because this is a independent film directed by, and forgive me for butchering his name.
Butchering the name.
Yeah. Guillermo Guillermo del Toro. I feel like I did a pretty good job with that one. Yeah. Guillermo
Sure.
del Toro, who has done amazing work from Hellboy, the Hellboy series, which I love, Pan's Labyrinth, which I believe everyone should go see. So he wrote and directed this movie, and a lot of people were talking about it. And I guess none of that talk interests you.
No, no, not at all.
Okay, well,
So we'll watch this and see.
I honestly envy you at this point. I wish
Well,
I try to go in blind to movies as much as possible.
I do too. Like when I go to like movies, I don't let, let's say, like my other friends or even my sister, like if she sees it before me, like let that influence whether I'm gonna like the movie or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like um there was like one movie that I really liked. Oh, it was the Deadpool movies.
Oh
I thought the
God,
I thought they were hilarious. Okay, I'm not gonna say that they're the great movies, but they were
I can't stand them.
hilarious. Ryan Reynolds is funny. So I went and watched them, and I told my sister to watch them too. And I told her that, like, I found the movies funny. And when she came home, she was so disappointed. She's like, that was not funny at all. I was like, oh, so clearly we have like very different tastes. Now I can't remember the movie that she saw and she liked, and I didn't. For the life of me, I can't remember the movie, but there has been times where like she's seen the movie that I want to see before me, and she'll
Mm-hmm.
tell me what she thought. And because we have very different tastes, I try to like just put it on the back of my mind and try to enjoy the movie like without, you know, her like comment or critique or whatever the case may be, and just kind of like enjoy the movie on my own.
Right, right, yeah, and that's the way to go about it. But
Yeah.
Deadpool,
Oh, come on, it was funny.
and I'm a huge Deadpool fan. Like I absolutely love the comics. I love the first time I ever found out about Deadpool was through the Marvel Ultimate Alliance video game, which is like totally geeky and whatnot. But absolutely love Deadpool. When I heard Ryan Reynolds was playing Deadpool, at first I was like, this is cool because he did a good job in Wolverine's Origins, and I loved him as Wade
Mm-hmm.
Wilson.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think I maybe it would be better if Ryan Reynolds didn't have such control over those movies because
Oh,
he
okay.
writes them.
Yes, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he writes them, and that's
I don't
awful.
know. I thought they were hilarious. Have you
Um,
seen his new movie? What's it called? Free Guy?
Free Guy. No, I didn't see
Yeah,
it, but I heard people were surprised by it. They actually liked it.
I did like it. It was actually pretty good. I think it was the first movie I went back to seeing when Ontario finally decided to come out of lockdown, because I feel like I've been in lockdown for like 10 years.
Oh shit!
Um,
You guys just got out of lockdown?
well, we were in, like, we had three stages. So once we reached like certain amount of like cases and vaccines and certain like whatever our health people were,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
using as
yeah.
a criteria, we had stage one where like certain things were open, and then stage two where another certain things were open, and then stage three where like basically everything's open but with
Mm-hmm.
still like restrictions. So I believe movie theaters opened up in stage two, so it's been open for a bit. But
Yeah.
for the first, like, I think 2 weeks we didn't have any like new movies. It was all like the old stuff until they started bringing the new ones. And then right now our cases are going up. I'm really afraid I'm going back into lockdown, but I don't want to talk about it.
No.
Definitely not.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, it's interesting to say the least over here in Georgia too. Um, people just don't act like there is a lockdown or there is a virus down here.
No, like, don't get me wrong. We have anti-maskers, anti-vaccinations, like at the airport, downtown. Like, they're everywhere. Like, trust me, some people don't even wear a mask anymore. Some people like don't even like bother with the rules or the restrictions. Here too. But the thing is, though, I find with like Ontario, like I'm from Ontario, Canada. I live in Toronto. Um, I feel like Ontario has been in lockdown for so much longer compared to everywhere else in Canada, and we've just been so fed up to the point that now we're just like, we don't care anymore.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah, like,
we're definitely going to talk about that during the movie because I was reading something about Australia literally going to
mhm.
war with their government.
Australia, they had two cases and they're like in like a 45-day lockdown or something like that.
Right. They're totally going to war with their government and the
Mm-hmm.
people in charge because they're just like, no.
The hell? But I don't get it. Like for two cases, like I mean, they have been on the better side of COVID, like being on top
Oh,
of it and like
100%. Yeah.
having
Them
their
in New
life a
Zealand.
little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, but I mean, for two cases to cut this short, like to like go into full ass like countrywide lockdown, I think it's a little extreme. I don't know if it was like 200 cases, maybe, but like for two,
I can I can only imagine hearing someone cough at a grocery store and then the manager's just like, "Oh, shut this shit down. Everyone get out."
honest, honestly, I've learned to sneeze so quietly in public now because the last thing I need is someone to be like, COVID!
Right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, with that said, let's get right into this movie. So, Starfighters,
Sure.
we are going to be watching Shape of Water once again, the 2017 fantasy adventure film. I have no idea where this movie is streaming, but you can check the description box below, and I would probably find it later for you. But if you happen to have the DVD or you find it somewhere, please follow along with us. So, with that said, we are going to start this movie in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, Noor,
Hmm.
before we were
Yes.
recording, we were talking about.
Am I pressing pause?
You said, "Are you pressing pause?"
Yeah, should I press pause or no?
No, we were talking.
Oh, okay.
Think of this as like commentary, like what you would see on like DVDs.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
and of course, we're just there's gonna be periods where we're just watching it because obviously this is your first time watching it.
Yeah.
But you
Okay,
told
you said
me,
before we were recording, yeah. What did I
yeah,
say? I said a
you
lot of things.
yeah, you said, well, the one that stuck out the most, you said that
Oh,
you
God.
have a split personality disorder. And for your other personality, you like to wear wigs to try to, set yourself apart from your other personalities.
I think you misunderstood what I said. I said that I wear wigs and I've given my wigs names and I wear my wigs for
Hmm.
fun, for
Have you
photo
told your family
shoots.
this?
Yeah, my family knows I wear wigs. I used to even have like a mannequin head on my desk and I used to change my wigs once a week and display it.
And what was their reaction to this?
They were fine with it because okay, so this is where it started. I've always really wanted to dye my hair that like gray silver, but because my hair is very dark naturally, a lot of hair salons won't do it. And they're like, it's box dye. I'm like, it's not box dye, but they're afraid that my hair is gonna fry. And because I have a lot of thick, like Persian Middle Eastern hair, oh my
Okay,
god, I thought that was you for a second.
first
What the
first of
hell?
all, never have I ever heard a woman say that she wants to dye her hair gray.
No, but like how like, it was like that trend where people did like that gray silver hair? That's what I wanted. So because no one would do it for me, I was like, fuck it, let me just go get a wig. So I got like a gray silver wig, and my parents are completely fine. They're like, instead of damaging your hair, if this is what you want, fine. And the obsession started growing from there when I got like all different colors and lengths and styles.
So you said your family's fine with it. You want to know what I think that your family feels about it?
Sure,
I
tell me.
think
What do
I
you
think
think my family thinks?
I think that when your parents found out about it, they were like, "Sure, sure, Nora, okay." And then once you left the room, I'm sure they looked at each other and they're like, "Well, she'll grow out of it, right?"
Actually, funny you say that. I just kind of like changed my room setup a little bit, and I kind of had this like bin where I had all my wigs in there. My mom kind of just looked at me. She's like, "So, are you still gonna wear your wigs?" I'm like, "Well, one, mom, I've been in lockdown for like a year and a half now, like almost pushing 2 years. I haven't had anywhere to go. I'm like, however, there are
Mm.
certain colors and styles I have like felt like I outgrown. I might just give them to my baby cousin because like she likes wearing wigs. But I mean, baby cousin isn't like my younger cousin.
Because
She
she also
likes
has a split personality disorder.
No, she's actually a fashion designer. She's been doing like a lot of
Ooh,
runways, fashion shows. She's also just is doing. She's a fashion director for like an indie movie that they're making in Toronto right now. So like, she
very
likes to
cool.
just yeah. She likes to just get a little funky with her fashion. Like the wigs just help put the whole look together. She has like a few, so I can just give her some colors that she doesn't have.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I don't have a split personality. Let me just make that very clear. I just have wigs that have names. And it's not like I become a different person when I wear them. I just like to give the wig a name.
Okay. Yeah, you don't sound crazy right now.
I don't. I know I don't.
So this actress, if I'm not mistaken, um, maybe I am. She was in a movie called Submarine that I really like. That I also reviewed
Gosh.
on my channel.
She put a timer on.
Hey, sometimes you got to time yourself. Some people spend all day doing that and they lose serious track of time.
Did you watch this in theaters when it came out?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
where I live, there's actually quite a few theaters, but there's one theater that's kind of like a lot of people don't go to. So I love going there because whenever I do try to watch something, it's usually just me in the theater.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So then I can pretend I'm a billionaire and I just brought a theater to rent for the day or for the year, but only use it for that day.
Wait, she doesn't speak?
Yeah, she's deaf.
Uh-huh.
So this movie's already like really pretty, and I would expect nothing less from Del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, you haven't seen the Hellboy movies. You're really missing out.
I've heard of the Hellboy movies. The other one I've never heard of.
Yeah, so you can not like the stories or whatever from Hellboy and
Mhm.
Pan's Labyrinth. That's completely fine. I've seen Pan's Labyrinth, probably like 5 times, and I have no idea what the fuck's going on in that movie. But it's just
So why
like,
do you keep watching it?
well, it's because the set dressing, the art direction, the practical effects, practical makeup. It is like
Oh, so it's a
inc-
good movie, just not a good story.
no, 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 no. I mean, I
Oh,
like the story, but
okay.
the story might not be for everyone because it's a little
I
bit
see.
like it could maybe it could maybe sound like a video game RPG a little bit, which I'm sure you don't know what that means either.
No.
So it brings up an interesting question I always think about. Would you rather be blind or deaf?
Deaf.
Really? I'd rather be blind.
I've traveled too much and seen too many like beautiful scenes that like if I was blind and I couldn't see that, like that's just very sad
But you said you've already seen it, so why not be blind?
because I know there's other places that I want to see. But I could be deaf, like that's fine. I could read lips or I can learn sign language. But
Mm,
to not be able to see like at all, that's just crazy.
yeah, I think I wouldn't mind. The thing is with me, I just want to hear things. I'm a huge on music. So,
Yeah, so like the only thing that I could think that I would really really miss would be music because like for movies and TV shows I could put subtitles on like I could there's a way to get around it. But music is the one thing that I can't. But if I had to pick music and like seeing, I think I would still rather want to see.
so this actress, the black woman,
She's in a lot of movies.
she's in a lot of movies, yes. I feel like from the past 5 years now, I feel like she's been horribly typecast.
Okay. Are they in like a science?
Yeah, some type
Is
of
it a
like
lab? Some kind of science lab?
yeah, some type of top secret
Okay.
science lab.
Uh-huh. Yeah, oh Jesus.
You said what?
So oh Jesus. Like I knew something was gonna happen, but still still shook me.
Wow, you get scared easily, huh?
Very.
Yeah. I remember you telling me you really don't like horror movies. I'm the same way, but I have a friend who's been trying to get me into them
Mm-hmm.
as of recently, and she told me to look up. At first, we watched Child's Play, and then after that, she told me to look up Hellraiser to see if I would like it.
Child's Play is Chucky, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that movie is goofy as hell. But
I know.
Hellraiser, I try to look up that movie, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's it's so weird to the point where I'm like, all movies have a purpose. I believe that all movies have a purpose. But I look at
Mm-hmm.
that movie and I don't understand why someone would make that.
Sorry, what movie?
Hellraiser.
See, because I don't watch horror movies, like I genuinely don't know like the names when it comes to horror movies.
Yeah, it's an '80s film.
ダンダンテレビジョンが向かな。
هم اگه میخواستی از آمازون از اون باکس ها بگیری یه چیزی سفتی بگیر که مثلا یه دو تا بذاریم بتونیم چیز بذاریم روش که بیاد بالا
باش.
برون نگیر.
Sorry. Um, with horror movies, I started actually watching, you know, the TV show American Horror Story.
Yeah.
So I started watching that, but I literally can only watch it in the daytime and with someone. Like I generally can't watch scary shit because it will really make me paranoid and have like nightmares. So I started with that,
But that's
and
mainstream horror, right? Mainstream horror is
yeah,
not really scary. They just try to just do a
exactly,
bunch of jump scares and think that it's horror, which I've learned that's not
exactly,
really what horror is.
exactly. Because like my sister loves horror movies, like she laughs at them, like that's how much she loves them. And when she watches American Horror Story, she's like, this isn't really horror. It's, as you said, mainstream horror, or it's like, you know, it's very jumpy, or it's very, like, Roanoke is very gory. But it's not, like, scary. And I still don't think that I'm ever ready to watch, like, horror movies. Like, I can't.
Hmm. Yeah, I
I
need to
had,
find someone who's never seen Friday the 13th. Or not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, so I can watch that for the first time.
I haven't seen it, but I'm also not going to watch it.
Shit. Scaredy cat.
I honestly am. Like, I can't even, like, argue that.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't I don't fear these horror villains. I don't fear Freddy Krueger. I don't fear Jason. I don't fear Chucky anymore. I don't fear. I don't feel Hellraiser. I don't fear any of these people, of these horror villains. You know why?
Why?
Because they love black people, and they really, really, really are racist towards white people, which is why they kill them in all their movies. Am I right? That's why it's never scared me, and I've almost looked at them as like, I don't want to say like a hero, but well, maybe.
Isn't Us about a black family?
Right. So that's but that there's no horror villain in those Jordan Peele movies, right? They're just stories,
Oh, okay.
right? Something like Friday the 13th, it's a consecutive villain that's doing these things and
Hmm.
he's doing it to white teenagers.
So that's your justification for watching them,
No, I don't watch them at all. I'm telling you why
or
I
like
don't
the
fear
reason?
them.
That's what I was gonna say. Sorry. So that's your justification for not fearing them.
Right? Because they don't want to kill me.
They want to kill me.
No, you're not white either.
Technically, no.
Yeah. If Freddy Krueger was in your house, he'd be like, "What up?" He
That'd be
wouldn't do
shit.
anything to you. He'll honestly say, "Have you seen like the White family? Are they around?"
My sister would probably want a photo.
And besides, I'm not gonna fear Freddy Krueger because the guy who plays Freddy Krueger also plays the old grumpy man in the Disney movie The Paper Brigade. So there's no way I'm fearing him. You remember that movie?
I think so.
He's the Paper Brigade.
I just noticed this movie is very green. The walls are green. Her outfit's green. Everything's green.
Right. I think that's supposed to be a bit of
The
imagery.
water reference. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, from the water reference, which is kind of like okay.
I think this scene right now is just a little too much green.
You have a thing against green people?
And there's no green people, first of all.
Do you like the Grinch? How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
I love The Grinch. Let me tell you, I watch The Grinch like 3 times minimum during the holiday time, and I watch it at least once a month. That's how much I love The Grinch.
That's amateur work. I used to watch that movie every night before I go to sleep.
Now you're just showing off.
Yeah, well, it's my favorite movie of all time, and I have a theory about that movie.
Really, The Grinch is your favorite movie of all time?
Yeah, I know a lot of people think it's The Last Starfighter, and sometimes I might tell myself that, but it's honestly How to
Okay,
Grinch Stole Christmas.
that's interesting. I did not know that.
Well, it's my favorite movie of all time because I think the story is pretty cool and all that stuff. But then also, there's just a lot of things left unexplained in the movie to the point where I made up my own theories. Like, for example,
Okay.
I believe, and I wholeheartedly believe this, and I might be able to prove it to a point, but I believe that Cindy Lou Who it is dead, and I think she's been dead for like a very long time. And I think she's this ghost or spirit that's kind of just hovering around Whoville and just talking to people, but not really. But nobody. It's like she's talking to people, but people never respond to her. No one in the movie ever talks to her directly, right?
I'm actually thinking about like what you just said and also watching this at the same time. I think you're right. No one actually really does talk to her.
No, every time she has a dialogue with somebody is as if they're talking to themselves. So even at the beginning of the movie, when she's with her dad, or
Dad, yeah.
supposedly with her dad at the store, and she says what first off, the thing he says is as if he's talking to himself. He's like, "Man, nothing beats Christmas, huh?" And she says, "Doesn't this seem a little bit too much, a little too superfluous?" Which, by the way, I don't know what 8-year-old or 9-year-old little girl is using Ivy League
Mm-hmm.
uh, vocabulary,
Vocabulary, yep.
right? So clearly, she's been living a long time, watching people, listening to them, picking up different words and phrases. Um, but yeah, never does she talk to anyone directly. There's always people talking to themselves.
Huh. I'm gonna rewatch The Grinch soon and see. Like watch it like with that mindset.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You should do that. And then also, yeah, there's just so much I can dissect with that movie. I was thinking about doing an analysis thing for my channel about that, but it wouldn't really be an analysis. It would be more like a theory.
I'm gonna say more like so your theories?
Yeah, something like that.
That's lovely, it's a finger. This girl just picked up two fingers as if it was like nothing.
Yeah, you can tell she into some freaky shit.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. This cannot end well. So your favorite movie of all time is Grinch. That's so interesting. I
Yeah, I
like
can
that.
name my top 10 favorites like off the top of my head right now.
Alright, what are they?
Um, so I just want to say, anyone who's seen Hellboy, that thing looks just like Abe Sapien. Even the actor who plays Abe Sapien in the Hellboy movies, Doug Jones, is acting or performing in this movie as that monster. So I just want to put that out there. So my top 10 favorite movies of all time. My number one goes to How to Grinch Stole Christmas. My number
Mm-hmm.
two is um, The Last Starfighter, which is basically what this whole thing is. My number three goes to Clerks, the 1994 Kevin Smith film. Uh, my number four goes to Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Number five goes to Ben-Hur, the 1959 classic
Oh, not
with
seen that one.
Charles Heston. My number six would honestly probably be Risk Cutters, the 2007 film. Um, Number eight would probably be Swim Fan. It's a 2002 movie. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's just very nostalgic for me because I used to watch it with my brother a lot. Oh, let's see. Number nine. might be. Oh crap! I don't know. Maybe now I'm stumped by my 9 through 10.
So far, I've only seen 2 of those movies.
But what about you? What's your favorite movie of all time?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of judgment from this from you, but Harry Potter.
That's
Literally, like one
that
one to
doesn't
eight
count.
is like
That doesn't
number one spot.
that doesn't count. No.
Why?
Harry Potter movies don't count.
Why?
So I have a thing with Harry Potter movies in sense of they're not really. I mean, of course they're movies, but they shouldn't be judged as movies because one, no Harry Potter movie has ever aged. We have never allowed it to age because it has always been in the form of like media since ever. You can't go a weekend
Okay.
without seeing it on TV. And you can't go a
Okay.
month without clicking on it and just seeing like what part is this movie on. So the movies have not aged and they haven't necessarily grown with you, or maybe they have grown with you, but you can never see it from like a point of view as like, oh, I haven't seen this movie in years. Let's see if it still holds up. I'm pretty sure any Harry Potter movie that you've seen, or I know you've seen them all, but any Harry Potter movie would pretty much be like the exact same feeling you had when you first watched them.
Yeah, they are. I
So,
actually watch the Harry Potter movies like probably like I do like a Harry Potter marathon like once every like 2 or 3 months. Oh Jesus Christ. Well, they count for me because I genuinely love the movies so much. Oh my god, my number 2, you're really gonna judge me. I love the Mamma Mia movies.
oh, yeah, I just watched the first one all the way through, like, I think last year.
Oh my god, we should watch the second one together. Freaking love the second one too.
Well, that could probably work because I had no interest in seeing that second one. But yeah, I do love the music, especially from the first one. After I heard they
Jesus
did that
Christ.
ABBA song, I couldn't get
Yeah.
that out of my head.
Everything is an ABBA song.
Oh wait, every song on there?
Yeah. They're
Oh
all
wow.
ABBA. Yeah. They made the musical. Well, this was a musical before, right? Before it was a movie.
Right.
They used the ABBA album to make the musical.
Wait, they let this thing just roam free?
Right? I mean, it's chained, but like,
Even if it's
I
changed,
don't,
this thing
I
just
don't
took
think that's
someone's
enough
fingers off.
protection, right? I mean, after number 1 and 2, there's just a bunch of movies that I really, really like, but I don't know if I've ever actually saw it and been like, hey, what's my top 10 like favorite movies?
Hmm.
Like, I really liked The Departed. That was a really good movie.
Oh yeah.
Um, the entire like Marvel
No, stop
world
it.
counts as
Just
like
stop it.
one.
Just stop. They're not good movies.
Oh, come on.
I enjoyed the
They're
hell out
good.
of Iron Man 3. I thought that was fantastic.
I thought that was the worst Iron Man.
Oh
I
my
liked Iron Man
god.
2.
Just get off the podcast. Wait, you said Iron Man 2 is the best one?
I really liked Iron Man 2, yeah.
Get the fuck off the podcast.
Iron Man 3 is the one that he has all of those Iron Mans, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Iron Man 2 is like the most forgettable movie right besides Thor the Dark World.
Thor the Dark World we don't talk about. That
Yeah,
was a
we
bad
don't
movie.
talk about Iron Man 2.
No, Iron Man 2 was the one with the guy with the electricity.
Yeah, Whiplash.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
No, it's a forgettable movie. It's so
No, no, no,
forgettable.
no.
Are you excited for the Spider-Man movie? I know that trailer just dropped.
I am. But see, this is the thing. I'm just not a fan of Spider Man, to be quite honest.
Okay.
But with this whole multiverse being opened, because I've been following with WandaVision and Loki. Loki's like literally my favorite. I love Loki. That could be another, conversation. But like keeping up with all the like movies and TV shows, I'm really excited to see this one and see how like hopefully it all ties in together.
Hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see three Spider-Mans if that like is true.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not even gonna get into it because there's a lot of things I don't like about it, and a lot of things that are just like doesn't make sense. So I'll spare you the headache. But the only thing I'm excited for is so they're filming. Um, they're going to be filming Moon Knight next to me. So I'm trying to like work on that show because I'm a
Oh
huge
wow.
Moon Knight fan.
Okay.
Yeah, I read his comic books and all that jazz.
The new Marvel movie, what is it called? Shang-Li and the Ten Rings?
Yeah,
Shang.
uh,
That one comes out
something.
next week.
Yeah, they're saying that's going to be like the first ever Marvel cinematic movie that's going to flop.
That's because they're not promoting it.
Well,
In all honesty, I haven't seen any promotion on it.
okay. If you want to be honest, I think Black Widow flopped,
Okay, here's
and
my
this is
thing
all
about
just
Black
because
Widow.
of of, of COVID.
Yes, exactly. I was gonna say that. Like, I like Black Widow. Like, I love her character, and I did like the movie. But you're right. I think that it did flop because of COVID. It should have came out when it was supposed to, and the way that they wanted to, and everything, and it would have done a lot better. But COVID did fuck it up big time.
Okay, it made $171 million, which, in all honesty,
It's a shit ton of money.
that's a lot of money for us. But for a studio, something like 20 million, making 20 million, 20 million, 20 million to 40 million back is pretty bad because that
Hmm.
honestly is like just like a light bill for them.
Yeah,
So making over 100 million, sure, that's good for some movies, but for Marvel, that's honestly like you're not making these movies just to make 100 million back.
yeah. Another thing that I guess disliked about Black Widow was that Black Widow falls in the timeline before Infinity Wars, right?
Hmm.
So if you watch the end credits scene, you see that Black Widow dies before even watching Endgame. And that is a huge, huge spoiler for anybody that like hasn't seen the whole Marvel
Oh,
cinematic movies. That's such a huge giveaway of not seeing the final two movies and you know that she's gonna die. I think that is so shitty.
right.
When I literally watched that end credit scene and it finished, I'm like, so we find out Black Widow dies before she actually dies in the end game. And my friends just looked at me and I was like, well, this is before Infinity Wars. So it's before she dies.
Am I the only one that felt like her boob was fake?
Who's boob? This girl or Black Widow?
No, no, first off, we didn't see Black Widow's boob. Actually, her boobs are fake, but that's different. This woman that was on the screen, like when she pulled it out, that it looked faked.
Mm, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen that on set where certain actresses or actors are not, they don't have nudity in their contracts, so they try to just do different things to kind of make up for it.
Oh, like what? Like with like fake boobs and stuff like that?
Well, that's what it looks like. But I mean, I've seen kind
Mm,
of, I mean, I haven't seen, but I've like, certain actors will say like they only want you to like film like a side boob,
right.
right? Like no nipple at all.
She's just casually waiting for this creature. Yep.
Yeah, so what else were we talking about? We were talking about the cinematic universe. That's right. We were talking about Spider-Man. You're not excited for Spider-Man, the trailer and
No,
all that
no,
stuff.
I am excited. I just don't like Spider Man.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, like I'm not crazy about his like storyline in general, but because of this movie, I'm like I am excited because it's supposed to be linking with a whole bunch of other, like
Right.
WandaVision and Loki and like the
Well, that's what they all
multiverse.
do.
They do. So I have seen all the Spider-Man movies because they are all linked, but I just think that Spider-Man's like my least favorite. Let me put it that way.
I got called to work on Loki, but I didn't do it.
Oh, you should have so done it.
Yeah, it was
I
literally
love
like
them.
on a holiday, and I couldn't do it.
I love Loki.
That actor's cool. I don't really care for
Tom
the
Hiddleston.
character. Yeah,
Oh, he's so cute.
yeah. I saw an interview. He was like, "I want to do this character forever."
Well, he said that if they allow him to do Loki forever, he would do it.
Mm.
I've seen that interview.
But yeah, well, that's the new thing for actors these days. Once you get on a superhero show, it's almost like you're set for life.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Chris Evans wanted to do Captain America anymore, right?
Who did?
Chris Evans?
Oh no, yeah, his contract was up. Same thing with
Yeah,
Downey Jr.
yeah, they had 10 years.
Crazy contract.
This girl just asked if you're okay. It's like a full ass glass like thing. You probably didn't even feel that.
Look at this guy. I know we've been talking through a lot of it, and I know this is your first time watching, and I've already seen it, but even like just glimpsing at it again, shit is
It's not that.
so. It's just like, why should we
I'm not
care?
gonna lie. Yeah, so far it's a little boring. I'm not gonna lie. And everything is green. Even the three cars parked outside of the damn house was green. This paper is green.
That
Like
building
everything
is green.
is green. Everything is green. Like I
This
get it.
guy's teeth is green.
It's a movie about a water sea creature. I understand it's supposed to be green and blue.
Look at his
I think we
car.
just
It's
overdid it a
green.
little bit.
Literally.
I think the green and blue's overdone. And we're only 30 minutes in.
So another thing too, the actor director Del Toro, as fantastic as he is, he actually got sued for plagiarism for this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
For
he
what?
uh, for for stealing
Like, what did
someone's.
he copy? I know what plagiarism is. I meant for what did he steal?
uh, I don't know what the source was, if it was based on
Oh,
something. So they didn't say. So obviously, I just assumed that someone already wrote this before, and he just took it.
well, now I'm interested to see what the original one was.
Right. Right. I mean, it's like no original movie or anything. It's just like the script itself.
Mm-hmm.
So normally, in terms of media, when people of celebrity status get sued, when it's not true, we all hear about it. But when it is, they usually don't tell anyone. So once
Yeah,
that
they
whole
keep it hush hush.
yeah, so once that whole thing happened, you just didn't hear
Yeah.
from it again.
Mm.
It's probably on his wiki.
Could we just take in how much green is in this scene right now?
Yeah, it's a lot.
remember how you were talking about how there's a movie theater that you go to because like no one really is there, so you're just watching the movie by
Right,
yourself?
right.
So when Mamma Mia 2 came out, I actually saw it 4 times in theaters. Like that's how much I loved the first one, so like I went to see the second one. The first time I watched it, it was like premiere night. Okay, I don't actually don't know if it was premiere night, but it came out like on a random Wednesday night,
And
and
no one
me
was
and my friend
there?
went to. No one was there. It was literally me and my best friend.
Wow.
We sat in the middle of the theater, and when I tell you, I was belting the songs down the top of my lungs because it was just me and her in the theater. It was honestly like one of the best like movie experiences that I had was like being in the theater by myself, well, with my best friend. And then I watched it with my best friend again and my other one because the other one couldn't come that night. Then I saw it with my family because I dragged them to it. And then I think I went and saw it again with my sister. I went 4 times.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they're
do like the first one better than the second one, but the second one is really good too.
okay. Yeah, then we can definitely watch that one. There are definitely movies that I want to see in theaters that I never had the opportunity to.
Ah, this girl just casually has her lunch with this thing. Oh, is he not in water? So,
Yeah, it's very hard to care
about this movie?
about everything in this movie,
Okay.
even the protagonist. And I even said it. I did a podcast earlier today, and we were watching Office Space. Um, I told my guest that for a movie and even a TV show, I don't have to like the characters. I don't have to like the protagonist. I don't have to like them. I don't even have to hate them. But I need to understand what journey they're going on.
Right.
I need to know what their flaw is, and I need to know what type of journey they're going to take to either fix that flaw or make it worse. And so far, I'm not getting any of that from this protagonist.
To be honest, like I'm just confused on what's going on. Like I mean I get what's going on, but I also don't get what's going on if that makes sense.
Maybe that's the intent of this movie.
Maybe.
That's how I felt about Pan's Labyrinth. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Everything looks so cool.
Definitely this does not look cool.
Well,
It's
you
just
don't
green.
like the green tint?
No,
The movie gives
everything is
off.
green. Every freaking thing is green. The only thing not green right now is his shirt. Everything else looks green.
So I watched a really good movie that I would recommend to you last
What'd you
year,
watch?
and it's been one of my favorite movies.
What'd you watch?
You saw what?
What'd you watch?
I watched. Wait, do you like subtitle films?
I don't mind them. Sometimes I put subtitles on for like a movie that I'm watching. Just
Okay.
it sometimes makes it easier.
Right, right, right. So I don't like subtitle films.
Oh,
I'd
okay.
rather just like not watch them. But this movie's all subtitles, and it's a Korean movie. But what was interesting about it is they don't speak a lot in the film, and it's all just about what the characters are doing. That kind
Oh,
of
okay.
paints the picture.
You know what it kind of reminded me of?
What
Mr. Bean. He doesn't talk.
you said? This guy reminds you of Mr. Bean?
No, the movie that you were describing.
Oh,
It's kind of like Mr. Bean movies. He doesn't talk. He
right,
just
right,
like
yeah.
acts and like yeah, he's just there.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. But this isn't a comedy. So it's a Korean film called Spring, Summer, Fall, Winter, and Spring Again. That's what it's called,
Oh, okay.
and it's the most incredible movie you can ever watch. It would literally make you into a better human being.
Really?
Yeah, it's about each season that I told you, the spring, summer, and all that. The
Hmm.
movie is about a little kid who lives with a monk, and
Okay.
he's like his apprentice. So
Mm.
that's what the movie is about, and it's a coming of age movie about the kid growing up. And each season that they show throughout the movie is how many like kind of like years have passed, and you're kind of seeing his life kind of evolve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is incredible, absolutely incredible.
You gotta text me the name so I can remember.
Yeah, I'll text you right now. You can watch it on Tubi TV for free.
Tubi TV?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
know.
think that's free in Canada.
Oh, that's right. Us Americans do
Nah,
do a
apparently I
little
live
bit
in
things better
Narnia.
than you Canadians.
Apparently I live in Narnia compared to the States.
I wouldn't say
What?
Narnia, more
No,
like
no. What kills
Hogwarts.
me is that sometimes, no, what kills me is sometimes whenever I'm on YouTube and I want to watch a video and it says like, "Oh, sorry, it's unavailable in your country," and I'm like, "Well, where the fuck am I living? Narnia? Like, I live
Right.
in Canada.
Yeah, that
Who is
bothers me
this
too.
guy that she sees?"
I think that's like her landlord or something. I think this woman just needs to open a dating app.
Or just make some new friends.
Yeah, or open a dating app.
Why not? Or you could start with friends. Where she's like friends with her landlord and like with the girl at work. And then falling in love with a sea creature.
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, she needs to get out more.
She really does. I love green. Like all I'm seeing is green. This like
Yeah, it is not pleasant, really.
no, this filter that they also have on that makes everything look green is not cute.
And working in film for me, like you'll get like sometimes all you can see is certain colors when you go outside and you kind of look at things. Like for example, like when we hang up lights, sometimes if you're outside and there's a lot of grass around or a lot of trees, then the lights that you put up and you're shooting at the actors, they would reflect green-ish tint onto them just because there's just grass there. And we put
No,
like a
this is
pinkish
deliberately
teal.
it looks green.
Yeah, well,
And you know
yeah, but
green.
yeah, but I just after working for so long, I can't unsee these things. even even if this movie didn't have the tint and it was just shot like regular, I can probably still like see like hints of whatever color is like in this diner.
I just like seriously it's blowing my mind how everything is green in this movie.
Oh wait, you're a Gryffindor, aren't you?
I'm a Slytherin.
Oh, okay. Oh, whew, that was a close one. I almost hanged up this call.
No, I'm Slytherin.
I knew that's why we were friends.
Mm,
But wait a second, are you like you're a Slytherin, but are you like down with us?
down with what? Hello?
What?
You said down with and then you didn't finish.
Sorry, I was watching the racism play out.
Oh.
So I know we were talking, but you didn't see it. But he tried to make a pass out of him because he's gay. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah. So the guy talking to that guy tried to come on to him, and I guess obviously he wasn't having it. So the thing I want to say real quick, I have a problem with films like this trying to is as if they have like a checkbox that they're just trying to fill out to put in movies so they can say that their criteria is for certain demographic audiences. For example, I didn't like the movie Lady Bird when it came out because I felt like that wasn't a movie. It was just a piece of media that tried to have all these things in it to try and say, hey, we're for LGBT, we're for animal rights, we're for this, we're for that, and for this.
Uh, I see what you mean.
Right. Because in Lady Bird, it's about like the girl about to go off to college, and then she finds out this boy that she was kind of likes, but not really likes. He found out that he's gay, and he has a hard time telling people he's gay. But then that doesn't matter because we don't see him throughout the whole movie, and then we find out like she has a problem with her mom. It's just a lot with the movie that didn't
Mm.
need to happen. That I felt like
When they put like too many issues and like topics into one movie.
right,
Or even like sometimes TV shows, I find that too.
especially with
Like,
TV.
did you ever watch the Netflix show Spinning Out?
No,
Okay, it's about a figure skater who deals with like bipolar disease. Now, I would say like the topics they
spinning
did
out. I get
cover,
it.
yeah. Um, the the topics that they did cover, like with bipolarism, they even talked about racism, disorders, anxiety, um, like sexual assault, like a lot of topics.
Right.
Now, it got canceled after the first season, which I found very disappointing because if they allowed like maybe like 2 or 3 seasons, then they could have like developed those like topics and like kind of like branched off on them and like maybe did like one season like or like half a season on specifically one topic and then another topic, right? I just felt like as good as a show it was because of all the topics, I also found that there were just too much topics. It's like every episode it was like something else. And it was like we didn't really deal with the situation from the last episode, you know?
I agree with that, and that's why I got canceled because it was trying to listen. A lot of these Netflix shows, Netflix don't make them. A lot of time, Netflix doesn't make them. I would say like 80% of the time,
Hmm.
it's like other studios and literally independent filmmakers are just making something and they pitch it to Netflix. And normally, these people who make this content have an agenda to have like a checkbox of every single thing that's happening in today's world and try to put it
Hmm.
in their
Into it.
yeah, so they can get it viewed.
Yeah.
And that's why, first off, that's why Netflix is in serious trouble with their content right now, because as you can see, Netflix is like literally last place in terms of streaming services.
Yeah, there's not that much good things on Netflix anymore. Or like even their like own Netflix stuff.
Right. Yeah, yeah, not a lot of good content. um a lot of their subscribers are canceling their memberships, and um, also it's as if Netflix is too impatient with their shows, and if it doesn't have the results they want right away, they immediately
Yep.
cancel it first
Yep.
season.
If they're I think they track the views for like the first like 3 weeks, maximum four. And if it's not up to like par, they just cancel it. I think it was something like that that I read.
Which is
Because there was a
so.
few.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, because I was just saying that there was a few Netflix shows that I had seen like with obviously lockdown. There was really nothing to do. Like I've seen like a lot of like shows, and I was always wondering like, is it going to be renewed for like another season or not? And like some of them did get canceled, some of them I think they did get renewed, but they based their like renewal on yeah like the first like 3 4 weeks of it's being released.
Yeah, yeah, it's it's very interesting, and then it's also the content that they're putting out, and I say that as in like who their audience is for most of the time. Like there's like constant Netflix shows being filmed here. And when I get
And
emails to like join them, it almost makes me sick to my stomach. Like just the titles of them and like reading them. Like I got asked to do like this show called Teenage Bounty Hunter, and I'm like, just the title alone. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
yeah, no, that does not sound that does not sound interesting. There's actually a lot of Netflix shows shot here in like Toronto, Mississauga area.
Yeah,
Like Spinning Out was shot here. Never Have I Ever was shot here.
right. Yeah.
Um, what was that one? The ballerina one. Tiny
Oh
Pretty
wait, you
Lies.
you like those movies though
I'm
that they
gonna.
film
I'm
in
gonna
Netflix or that they do on Netflix?
listen. I'm guilty. I've seen all of them that I just named, but it's also because like I've like there are 10 episodes and like 30 minutes or like less than an hour each. I could finish it in like within a day, and like it's just something to watch.
Right.
Now, was it good? No, it's not the best. Like, Never Have I Ever is one of those like typical like teenage girl like drama, um, like series. Now, I'm definitely far from being in high school, so like that stuff isn't that entertaining to me. But I started it, and now like the new season came out, so I watched it. But I really hope that they actually cancel that show because like I don't know what else they could do with it.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
another show that got filmed here too.
So, I mean, most shows do. I think in terms of like almost the world, like things that are filmed, or let's say like just the like American region in a sense. It's like
Mm,
it's Georgia, Los Angeles, New York, Louisiana, and then a lot of people just say all throughout like Toronto area.
Yeah, I know like a lot of shows that like try to mimic New York
Yeah.
film in Toronto just
Hmm.
because it is cheaper. And I think that like we're not as busy as New York to be able to block off streets. Like we could do it a lot easier here. Like I know Suits was shot here, and like I actually went to school around where they like shot Suits, so like they would actually close off certain like parts of downtown. But because we're a smaller downtown compared to like New York City, it's easier here to close off like one or two streets as opposed to New York.
Right.
Or the other show was filmed here, Beauty and the Beast. I think that got canceled.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It did.
that one I remember like they filmed that right where I used to go to school too. Actually, in one of the streets, because like my campus there was like a few buildings, right? And within the same area, and there was one street that they actually blocked off, and they put the notice all over the school that if you wanted to go to the other side of this building, you had to go like the long way. Like you couldn't just like cut through the back street because they had it closed for filming.
Hmm.
And also, Suicide Squad was the very first one was shot here. It's like literally on Young Street, like where our like major part of downtown is.
That movie was shot
And
everywhere. They had so many reshoots.
but the scene where like Joker is driving his car really really fast with Harley in the car, and then Batman like drops on their car. That street that they're driving on is like downtown peak Toronto. And then you know where their like airplane falls in the first movie, that like where it falls and they start walking, that's in Toronto too.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure a lot of other places are in Toronto too, but those are the ones that like I'd seen like people post that they like saw. And also at that time my friend worked downtown where like the street was, and at night when he would close, he would see them starting to set up to be able to film.
Right. Yeah, this lady needs to get out more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a second. So you
We're only
didn't?
halfway done this movie.
Yeah, thank
Just thought
God.
I'd throw that out there.
Thank God.
Jesus.
So you've seen Fantastic Beasts too, right?
Fantastic Beasts 2?
Yeah,
Yes, I have.
yeah. You thought it was trash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm not,
why is J.K. Rowling the only person sabotaging her franchise?
I just think that, to be quite honest with you, Fantastic Beasts 1 wasn't that great, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, yeah, they just weren't that good.
Well, hold on. Let's see. I know they made a lot of money.
She's just going to keep this thing in like a bathtub.
That's what I'm saying. Damn, it almost made like $1 billion. Well, that was the first one because people are thinking like, oh, it could be good.
To be honest, when I watched the first one, and I think that this was like the wrong mentality going in, I expected it to be like a lot more about like Harry Potter and the Wizarding World.
Exactly. That's what I
Um,
wanted it to be on.
right, and I think that the more they make them, they will, because they are slowly making those like connections, right? Like especially in the second one. But I just expected there to be more to like grab me to be able to be very interested in like, ooh, this was obviously Fantastic Pieces before Harry Potter's time, right? So it's like the lead up to it or how it kind of got there and leads in like, some characters are crossover between the stories and it just might make a little bit more sense or paints a bigger picture. But it didn't do that for me. And I don't know if it will because of how shitty it kind of did in the first two. But because I did see the first two, I will watch any and all the other ones that come out. Those lockers are even green. Can we take that in? Her entire outfit is green. Everything is freaking green. Oh god.
What the hell is this black lady doing? Get the hell out the way.
Uh-huh.
So you saw what just happened when he injected that thing in his neck and it passed out?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's what you did to get Mrs. K's number and address. But it's okay. It wasn't
She's
you. It was the other you with the neon wig.
yes, because a like 12-year-old was wearing a neon wig. They're all getting fired. Oh god. Really? Oh my god. Come on, let's go. There we go. That was the worst guy to do this escape with.
Right.
Literally.
He's like me when I wake up. Yeah, what an interesting movie. Sometimes I feel like certain reviewers or certain people, or let me just say, like, I guess just the media, just the media. Sometimes when a movie is made by someone and it looks a certain way, I feel like people think like they have to like it, they have to appreciate it.
Yeah, I really don't know what people liked in this movie so far. I'm gonna be completely honest. The entire movie is green.
That's the takeaway from this movie.
The entire movie is green.
Well, let me tell you something. If a movie is going to do that, sometimes I don't mind it as long as it serves its purpose towards the overall story. For example, I said like my number 8 favorite movie of all time is Swim Fan. Anyone who's seen that movie, it's about a teenager who's a part of the swim team, and it's him cheating on his girlfriend, and the other girl gets like super attached to him, and it's kind of like a fatal attraction type thing, only teenagers.
Hmm.
So since he's like a swimmer and he's always at the pool, the whole movie kind of has this bluish kind of feel to it, right? But it's not necessarily like a tint throughout the entire film.
It's done tastefully.
Yeah, at least I feel like it
Right.
was.
This entire movie is green. And listen, no hate to the color green. Green, like they could have picked also nicer shades of green.
Yeah, I
Some
was
of
gonna
them were
say
really
I love
ugly
green.
greens. But like, do you think that these are pretty greens? The prettiest green that I saw was when they were outside and the guy was showing him the painting and like the trees were like multicolored greens. That was nice greens. You know what? Another show that has a filter that I cannot stand.
What?
Okay, it's already a really bad show and I don't want to get into it, but Riverdale. That filter
Oh
that they
my
put on
god!
Riverdale annoys the shit out of
Isn't
me.
it like a blue filter? I only seen a pilot episode.
It is like a blue filter. In some like scenes and situations, like it does look nice, but not for the entire goddamn like series. It is really annoying.
Sometimes I
That
really wonder what people see in certain TV shows.
yeah, Riverdale should have ended like at least 2 seasons ago.
It's just that those type of shows are a certain type of it's a certain type of TV show made for a certain type of audience. But I'm just very
Hmm.
curious to why someone thought like the Archie comic books would be a great adaptation for this type of TV show.
Like I'm not gonna lie, the first season was pretty good. Second season was good too. After the third season, I think that they should have ended it. Season four was like no, and I think they're in season five right now or season
They
six.
canceled it.
I've
That show's
lost.
over.
No, but it has one more season. It's been renewed for one more, and then it's canceled.
Uh,
I think. Yeah, because like, listen, I have watched Riverdale, but as I said, it should have ended like at least 2 seasons ago. But this new season, I haven't watched it yet. I might binge watch it when it's completely done, if I'm ever in the mood for it.
yeah, Riverdale's weird.
It is, it really is. You know what's a really good TV show that I started during like quarantine
What?
and ended it? Actually, two shows. Prison Break.
Oh, don't get me
Minus
started
the
on
last
Prison
season.
Break.
No, you didn't like it?
I've watched probably. I didn't finish season one. I got like probably like 8 or 10 episodes in, and then at a certain point, I don't know why I stopped watching it. I just stopped watching it. But from the fact there's like more seasons, I'm like, I'm willing to guess they didn't break out of prison.
No, I'm not going to say anything on it other than the fact that so the series was originally 4 seasons, okay?
Right.
But because of the way that it ended, I think a lot of fans were very disappointed. So years later, I think it ends up becoming like 8 years later, they released a season 5. Now, season 5 is completely trash.
Oh,
For me,
always.
Prison Break ended at season 4. For me, a TV show when it ends, it needs to be really shocking and it needs to be really, really well, I hate happy endings. Not for everything, but in general, I hate happy endings.
Hmm.
So Prison Break ending in season 4 the way that they ended it, I think would have been like my top 5 favorite endings ever up for
Hmm.
TV shows. And another TV show that I really liked that I watched was Sons of Anarchy. That was a good show.
Yeah, I've been meaning to. I've always like kind of like always see that show on, but I never watched it. I heard it's good.
Yeah, it is really good. And I would say that Sons of Anarchy ended very well too. Like I couldn't think of how else they could have ended it.
Well, the guy who plays the father, I think he's the dad. He's Hellboy in the movies.
The big guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's Hellboy. And speaking
Oh,
of suits, I know through the course of our friendship, you have done nothing but praise that show.
yeah. I like Suits. Why?
Well, for me during quarantine, I really got into Burn Notice.
Burn Notice?
Right, and I know you've never seen that show.
No.
And the funny thing is, like I've been watching like a lot of like behind the scenes of Burn Notice, and there's always like this ongoing joke between the writers of Burn Notice and the writers of Suits and how they all know each other, and they always try to be like, "Oh, our show is better." No, 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 no. Our show is pretty much better because technically the two creators of of both shows are like best friends apparently.
Are they relatively about the same things or no?
Well, I think they are because isn't Suits is about a FBI guy, right? And he
No.
starts what?
No.
Is not an FBI guy?
No.
Oh shoot! Wait! Not Suits, not Suits. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of White Collar.
White Collar. Yeah, White Collar is FBI. I've seen White Collar. I love it.
Okay, wait. Are you more into White Collar or Suits?
To be honest, I like both of them.
Well, I think those are. I feel like those are the same show, just about just different things.
Sorry. That was a little bit louder than what you said. They relatively are the same like show. Yeah, the guy, is a white collar criminal, ends
Uh,
up working with the FBI.
he totally ate
Did he
that
eat the
cat's head.
cat? Oh my god.
Yeah, what's some dumbasses? They think they can just keep that thing there. Anyway,
And then
so
Suits is about a basically like a kid, not even a kid, someone that never finished like college, but is a genius that works for a law firm,
hmm
and they basically are lying that he is a lawyer.
okay, that makes sense.
They're very similar. One's about law, one's about crime.
Right. Yeah, and I know White Collar is about an FBI guy who I want to say he captures a con guy who's like really good at his job, and they
Yeah.
decide to work together to stop
Yes.
criminals.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about starting White Collar because I know it's like the same format of Burn Notice, just different characters and different stories. And I
Hmm.
absolutely love Burn Notice. It's totally like already down as like one of my top 10 favorite shows of all time.
Really?
Yeah. So Burn Notice is about a guy named Michael Weston who was a spy, right? Super good at his job. But somebody framed him for something he didn't do. So because of
Hmm.
that, the CIA burned him. So when they burn a spy, they pretty much like erase him from like existence. You have no
Right.
money, no accounts, no nothing.
There's no trace.
Right. Because it's like just being fired from your job. But since they
Hmm.
can't, kill you, but they don't want you using your knowledge for anything else. So they put him in Miami to just keep him there until they figure out what to do with him. So now he's just there in Miami and he's using like his spy skills to just help everyday people and to also find out who burned him.
Huh.
Yeah,
That actually does sound interesting
it's
because I do
freaking
like,
fantastic.
because I did like White Collar. I actually recently rewatched White Collar because it's on Stars, part of Disney Plus,
No, it is
and
not.
I've always, yes, it
It
is.
is not on part of Disney Plus.
It is. You know the Stars part, or do you guys not have Stars in your Disney Plus?
No, why would Stars be a part of Disney Plus?
I have Stars part of Disney Plus. Like I don't know if that's just a Canada thing, but I have Stars part of my Disney Plus account, and there's like so many good TV shows and movies featured in Star, and that's how I watched White Collar again.
Well, people have been telling me to go watch Power. I know that's a part of Stars.
I don't have all of Stars. It's just like selected of what's on
Oh
Disney
my
Plus.
god. You have like a bootleg edition of Disney Plus.
Did he just heal him? Have you seen How to Get Away with Murder?
No, I didn't watch that show. I just didn't feel like that was for me.
Now that TV show had the perfect ending to a TV show that I've ever seen. It's literally my favorite ending.
What's the best ending I've ever seen for a TV show? Burn Notice kind of had. Burn Notice ending was kind of like, ugh. All right, that last season of Burn Notice didn't have to happen, but I will say the first 6 seasons are fantastic. That
Is
last
this the
season
show that
is
you
just
just
like,
told me to watch?
you said what?
Is this the show that you just told me to
Yeah,
watch?
Burn Notice.
Or notice? Okay.
Yeah, that last season was basically just like, hey, let's just go on one more adventure.
I know those ones.
Yeah, it just didn't need to happen. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see it, but yeah, but best ending for a TV series? Now I gotta think. Um, Strange Days at Blake Halsey High doesn't have a bad ending. I really like that show. Um, oh, you know what had a good ending? Wonder Years.
Hmm. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Wonder Years. It's like the TV show from the '80s about this kid and him just growing up in Philadelphia.
Oh, I might have to look it up. Sometimes when I see like the poster of like the movie or the show, or if I know who's in it, I'll remember better than just the name. Like sometimes I don't do too well with names.
I have like a cool picture of it. I'll send it to you.
Let me see if I remember.
So, and to think about like other TV shows, Oh, well, that kind of didn't have an ending. But one of my favorite shows is My So-Called Life. That show's incredible. But it didn't really have an ending.
This is about to get really weird.
Oh, God. I put my head down for like less than a minute. Okay, I sent it to you. That's a picture of Wonder Years. It's kind of like not necessarily the best picture, but it's something I just have on my phone.
Let's see. No, I never watched this.
Yeah, it's a pretty good series. So I will say Scrubs. Well, listen, we don't count season 9, but Scrubs, like when it ended in season 8, that wasn't a bad ending.
I never watched Scrubs either.
Yeah, Scrubs is
I've
good.
heard of it. Mm. I think Scrubs is on. I've seen it on one of these platforms. Oh
Yeah,
my god, there's a red. Oh my gosh, she has a red headband and a red shoes. There's color in this.
I'll tell you what, Monk had a great ending.
I haven't seen that one either.
Oh my god.
But I like shows that have like. Oh, you know what else was a really good ending? Scandal.
Oh
Oh,
my! See, you're naming all these TV shows I just wouldn't watch.
Scandal was a good ending.
So what was Scandal about? It's like Kerry Washington. Oh wait, it was Kerry Washington, and she was hired by certain people who are trying to keep like scandals on the down low,
Yeah,
and she like solves
yeah.
their problems.
Basically, she was like a scandal crisis specialist.
It's not a real job.
She used to be a lawyer, and like she kind of had this like firm where she had like a whole bunch of um, ex lawyers, I believe that they were, working for her, and they would try to come up with ways to either spin the story or cover up the story or whatever the case may be. And she was really close with the White House,
Mm-hmm.
um, and her relationship with the president at the time is a key factor, and a lot of um, like political like secrets and like things like that come out. Like, listen, I'm not a big like politics person, like at all. I find politics boring, um, and all that. But this show made it very interesting, and it um, and everything that happened or they talked about is not very like far fetched of what could actually have happened or has happened.
Mm.
So it was really interesting to see. Ow! Oh, my earphone fell off. Oh, yeah, Scandal was good. I've actually watched Scandal twice. I watched it once by myself, and then I know my dad likes TV shows like this, so I watched it with him.
So how many seasons does Scandal have?
I want to say 5 or 6. Can't be
Wow.
anything more than that.
Okay. Wow. The show went on a lot longer than what I thought it did.
I mean, Scandal could have ended at like 4 seasons. This Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder crossover is like iconic.
Hmm.
What the hell is that butter knife gonna do for you?
Trying to think of some shows. Because I know for a fact you're more of a TV person than movies, right?
Um, sure. I mean, I enjoy both, but yeah, I do love TV shows.
Yeah. I'm not. Well, yeah, I love both. I would say I'm like equally TVs and movies, but Man, I love watching TV. I'm currently watching Devious Maids right now. Have you seen that show?
No,
So
I'm
get
actually watching another Netflix show,
what show?
Cursed. It's a little boring, so like I'm stuck on episode 4.
Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. You're watching Cursed?
Yeah.
Do you ever wish that you could watch it with somebody?
With you? Do you want to watch it together?
No, I'm asking you. Do you ever wish you could watch it with somebody?
Watch specifically Cursed with somebody?
Yeah, when
I
you're
mean, I,
watching Cursed, you're like, well, I wish I could watch this with somebody.
I mean, because it's boring, yeah, maybe to have someone to talk through or like for making it a little bit more fun.
Okay, well, guess what?
But
Okay, check your phone.
oh my god, is this your review?
Yeah, so I do full episode reviews, which is basically kind of like how we're doing on this podcast for like movies. Only I do that for like TV shows episodes, and it's just me.
What episode are you on?
You said it's what?
What episode are you on?
I've only since I found the show very boring and stupid. I only gave it 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'm started episode 4. I haven't even finished it yet.
Yeah, that show is extremely boring. And why is it that the friend of the protagonist is more exciting than the protagonist herself? Right? I feel like that woman who plays the protagonist, I know she's in 13 Reasons Why. It seems like she should have never been casted for that show. And the girl who plays her
The
best
witch?
No, she's not. Wait, is she a witch? The main character?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
The
yeah.
girl?
Yeah, yeah. So the witch, I feel like the actress who plays her should never have been casted for her. I feel like the
Uh-huh.
girl who plays her best friend should have
Hmm.
been the witch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could see that.
What the hell is wrong with this lady?
Oh my god. This girl just made like a pool in her bathroom.
There's no way that would have happened.
I don't think that's physically possible.
No, especially not with she needs help.
Yeah, this is not okay.
She needs a Tinder date. That's what she needs.
Eat a cat.
Yeah, normally I like Del Toro's movies, but this one was never really hitting for me.
No. This is really boring.
So yeah, I'm watching Devious Maids. Devious Maids is about 4 Latin maids. So first off, it's about the main characters are 4 Latin maids, but it's really about a maid being murdered
Okay.
inside of like a house party by like not by, but like a house party in a neighborhood by like rich white people. And her murder was framed by this guy. Now, the guy's mom is like some college professor, and she told her son that she will get him out of jail. She'll do whatever it takes. So she now pretends to be a maid to work for the same rich white couple that hosted that party where she died at. And she
Mm,
now befriended the four, or I guess the three maids, so she can kind of get some more information and try to solve the mystery or whatever. The show is goofy as hell, but what's really good about it, like what's really funny about it, is the rich white people and how they act in society. It's like hilarious.
how many seasons is it?
It's like 4 seasons.
Oh, that's not bad. My
Yeah.
shows go on to like 8, 9 seasons. I'm like, why?
Well, I've kind of said to myself now, after watching so much television, the longer a show goes on for, the worse it's gonna get.
Yes, I agree with that.
And even if a show is still good, even after so many seasons, the longer it goes on for, the more likely you're about to see a very, very shit ending.
Mm. Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna end Grey's Anatomy. I've never seen it, but I swear they're like almost season 17, 18.
Well, you know what? I've actually started. I think last year I started Heartland. That's on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like middle season one, and this show is about to premiere their 15th season, and I'm like, I
Shit.
can't even.
Yeah, no, I think that's way too much. Like, don't get me wrong, Grey's Anatomy is on my list of shows to watch, and I think I'm only watching it because everybody's seen it, even though I already know like half the people die, I already know like all of
Die?
that.
Aren't they like doctors?
Yeah, but they die. Um,
Yeah, but they die.
yeah, they die. I still want to watch it, but the fact that it's 17 seasons, I think, is such a turn off because it's like, oh my god, 17 seasons, like full episodes. It's like 23 each. Like that's a lot of my time
Yeah, and
on
they're like
one show.
an hour long with specials.
Right. Oh, like it's on my list, but like I'm just like constantly skipping over it and I'm just watching other stuff that either is on my list or like new things that come out on Netflix or other things that just seem a little bit more interesting than 17 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. I
Right.
think it's 17 seasons. It could be like 14 or 15. Like, I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 17 because I remember that show started like in the very early 2000s.
Yeah, 17 sounds right.
But even with Grey's Anatomy, I get so confused because they have like crossover episodes with other TV shows on like ABC.
Really?
Yeah, so the show that's out like now, I'm not sure if it's yeah, I think it's still going on. Called Station 18 or Station 19.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, about like firefighters and whatever. So they
Mm-hmm.
just like I think last year they just had, or maybe it was earlier this year, they just had a crossover episode with Grey's Anatomy because they like exist in that same universe.
Wow,
Right.
interesting.
Right. And then Grey's Anatomy also had another crossover episode with another TV show in that universe. I want to say it was like Chicago PD or something like that.
That's another like police crime show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All that stuff is too much.
You
I
know,
started watching The Rookie on ABC.
I started watching. I actually don't know if this is on ABC. I started watching New Amsterdam. I actually really like New Amsterdam.
I never even heard of that.
Oh, it's I don't want to say it's kind of like Grey's Anatomy, but it is about like doctors in a hospital. But
Oh, wait. I think I do know that. No, wait, no, never mind. That's a different show. I'm thinking of Nurses.
I don't think I've heard that one. But New Amsterdam, I think they have seasons 1 and 2 on Netflix. So I watched them, and I think season 3 is airing right now on whatever channel it is on. Um, so I'm excited to Netflix to have season 3 so I can watch it. It's actually a pretty good uh, show. I actually got my mom hooked on it. We were watching it together. Um, but yeah, that's like the only doctor show that I have watched and that I am watching. Like I'm just not really into like the whole doctor hospital shows like that. And I think
Oh,
that's another reason that I'm probably constantly putting off Grey's Anatomy because it's not my cup of tea.
I think New Amsterdam is like Canadian Netflix. I try to look it up. It's like not on here.
Oh, well, you guys have a lot of better stuff than us.
So look at how many freaking medical shows there are. There's Night Shift, a medical police. There's Lennox Hill. Like it's just ridiculous. Chicago Med.
I've never heard of any of these.
Yeah, it's amazing how many of these shows that are out there, and it's like the same shit. Like Chicago Med is in its fifth season right now.
Let me see if I can find how many medical shows we have
Oh,
here.
it's a spin-off of Chicago Fire and Chicago PD. That's crazy.
What is?
Chicago Med. It's
I have
amazing.
police, medical police, New Amsterdam, Grey's Anatomy, coroner, ask the doctor, Endgame, hospital playlist, the surgeon's cut.
So, do you watch Lucifer? I've been seeing that a lot in my like
No.
recommendation feeds for Netflix. Never watched it.
See, like I'm into all of that, like the werewolves, the witches, the vampires, Dracula, Lucifer, everything. But just Lucifer's not attracting me in any way to watch it.
Right, right.
I don't know. It is always in my suggestions. It's always in like my top 10 in Canada. Like, but it also got canceled apparently.
Yeah, it did. It did recently get canceled.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it because it got canceled now. But I don't know. Ooh, you know what's another show that I recently watched? Actually, two shows that were really good. Peaky Blinders. I'm excited for season 6. I believe it's supposed to come out next year,
Peaky
which will be the
Blinders.
last. Yeah.
Hmm.
Tell me you've heard of Peaky Blinders.
No, it sounds like something I would don't want to hear about.
No, no, no. So Peaky Blinders was basically the British, like, gangster family. They were worked out in Birmingham, and this was between World War I and World War II time. And that's exactly how the season 1 starts. It's after World War I, after the like kids come back or the sons come back from war,
Hmm.
and um, working in the family, the Peaky Blinders, and establishing their like name and their businesses and all that kind of stuff. And this series is supposed to end with World War II starting. So there's going to be one more season coming out next year. Um, but one of the characters actually died. So I don't know how they're going to kill her off the show.
Wait, one of the
Um,
actors died?
yeah, she died from cancer
Oh
this
God.
year. Helena something. She's the girl that also played in Harry Potter. She was Draco Malfoy's mom.
Oh wow. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And also I watched The Crown. The Crown was a really good TV show.
Never watched that one. Yeah, you
It's
definitely watch more
basically
TV
about
than
the
me.
royals.
Well, me, no, wait, no, 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 no. Wait, I'm willing to go out on a limb and say I watch more TV than you, but we
Yes,
just
I
don't
think so.
watch TV
The
that's
same
the
thing.
same. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
no, we don't.
I feel like, so the genres you watch, I watch those too. I just don't watch everything in that genre.
No, but if it's a genre I like, then like I'll watch other TV shows that are related to that same genre. If it's something that I like.
Right. I've just recently finished 3 seasons of this. So I've been really into Australian TV shows as of recently. I've been watching Australian shows. I just finished 3 seasons of Ocean Girl, and I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a show about a recently divorced mother of two takes her family with her to live in this underground or underwater kind of city
Uh huh.
called Orca, and she's like a marine biologist, and they're like searching, or they're like trying to research whales and understand whales a lot better. So as they're going out to go search for this whale and study it, one of the sons goes with the mom on the boat, and as he's there, he sees this woman or this girl like in the ocean, in the middle of the ocean, like swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good. It's like kind of like this mystery, suspense, and kind of like, I don't know. It's so interesting because Ocean Girl herself, you kind of don't know what she is, but she can do like some pretty incredible things.
Huh. That does sound interesting.
Yeah. So I've been watching that. I've been watching Cyber Girl, about a cyborg lady who is from a different galaxy, a different planet, and she's been watching Earth from afar, and she wants to be engraved into like their culture. She wants to be human. So she goes to Australia. She crash lands on Australia, uh, to be a part of society. But these other two cyborgs from her planet also crash land there, and they're trying to bring her back home, whether in peace or in pieces.
Uh
So,
huh.
right. And then now she's like kind of using her cyborg powers to kind of like just help people. It's pretty
Do you have
cool.
these on Netflix?
No, these are I've been watching these on YouTube because these are like old Australian TV shows.
Mm.
Yeah, I'll send you Ocean Girl because Ocean Girl is
Ocean World does
fantastic.
sound interesting. Just because I really do like sea creatures, like sea animals. So that did sound interesting. Can you also send me the other one, the one that's like white collar?
The Burning.
What did you say it was?
That doesn't
Burning
sound like a
something.
TV show, Nor. That sounds like something you should go get checked out for.
No, what was this called? It was burning something.
It's called Burn Notice.
Burn notice. Thank you. I was close.
Okay. So I just sent you Ocean Girl. It's all on YouTube, all 4 seasons. So I finished the first 3 seasons. I'm actually pausing on the fourth season because you can kind of tell time has passed in the fourth season. Like a lot of time has passed. So
Hmm.
I want like actual time to pass for me. I want to like, move on from the show a little bit and then come back and kind of grow as a person because that's what the characters are going to be doing.
No, if I'm watching a TV show, I'm watching it like I'm binge watching it.
Well, okay, I understand that, but you also have to like kind of acknowledge that I feel like binge watching as a culture now, it's kind of ruined the TV experience for us as people.
Uh, Definitely when I was watching TV on like TV, I was more excited. Like I could tell that I was obviously more excited about like what would happen next week because of like the cliffhanger or
Exactly.
the story and like see what's gonna happen, right? But
Hmm.
as I'm getting older and like not having enough time to actually sit down from let's say like 8 to 9 and watch a TV show every single week, I like the idea that everything is like online and I could just watch it all in one shot. And I'm still gonna enjoy it because like when the episode ends, you're still like, oh my god, like what happened, or what's gonna happen. You're gonna press next. Like that excitement is still there. It's just I'm not waiting 7 days to see it.
The
I'm waiting like
excitement is
seven
still
seconds.
there, but it's also in a sense that's like,
Hold on a second. Did this guy just twist off his fingers?
I think so. But it's also like you kind of finished a show that was not designed to be watched in 2 days. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
I see that too, but I don't know. Like just because of like I said, like working now and like being an adult, having shit to do and stuff like that. Like I find it hard to just sit down and like watch a show like only for like an hour, right? Like if I have free time, then like
mm,
I'd rather just sit and watch it all at like once or as much as of it I can, you know?
hmm.
I don't know. I think I enjoy it like this too.
Well, that's why I've made up a schedule for myself. So every day of the week, I have different shows that I watch on my list. Like
See,
only this type of TV show I would watch Mondays at this specific time.
see, when I started to fall behind on my shows, right? Like either I went out with my friends one week or like whatever the case may be, and I had to catch up like online and I didn't, I fell behind. I used to watch like all of my shows at like once to like catch up, right?
Hmm, hmm.
Now I'm the type of person that if I start a show or I'm watching a show, I need to finish it before I start something else. Like I can't. So now like I'm stuck with Curse. Like I need to finish this before I
You
can
do
watch
not
something
need to
else.
finish Curse. Let me tell you, that show is gonna
No,
waste your time. It is.
I know. I know it is, but I'm just that type of person that like now that I've started it, I'd want to finish it.
I don't think that show's being renewed for a second season. I think it got canceled.
Really?
I think so. No, there's no second season for that show, and that show came out like 2 years ago.
Oh, we just got it in Canada, I think like a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let me check.
There are a lot of there's a lot of Netflix shows that like you guys get first. Like Spinning Out is another one. Spinning Out came out in the States, did not do that well, and then it came to Canada a year later, did really well in Canada, but it was canceled. So my thing is like why even bring it in Canada if it's canceled?
Right, and then, they're still trying to just get some streams off of it, just get some more subscribers or whatnot. But
Mm.
um, yeah, I didn't like Curse, and then I started watching The Witcher,
Oh,
2.
that was good.
I didn't. I wasn't too into that.
Okay, here's the thing with The Witcher. I had no idea what was going on
Exactly.
until the last 3 minutes of the last episode, and everything just made sense. And I was
They
like,
didn't even tell us it was a
oh,
whole fucking flashback.
thank you. Oh my God, thank you. The second episode or the third episode, which is a flashback, which is the witchy girl thing,
Yeah.
I'm like, I had to pause and actually contemplate. I'm like, hold on a second. What time period is this? Is this the past, the future, the present? It made no sense. There was no date. There was no like, whenever they do, you know, 10 years ago, like they'll write it,
Hmm.
like nothing. So I legit thought that I was going crazy watching this TV show that I could not actually stop watching it, even though as confusing as it was, it made me want to understand it. I kid you not, until the last like 2, 3 minutes of the last episode is when it all made sense, and I was like, oh, I cannot wait for season two.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
don't
legit,
I don't care about it. I stopped
it
caring
is.
about it. Well, let me just say this. So like the show's based on books, right?
It's based on a book or video game.
So it's based on a book, and then the books. No, let me just say this again. That Witcher TV show is based on the video game, and those video games
Right.
are based on the books.
Uh huh.
And the
Okay.
video game has a huge following, like a huge following. Like even when the pandemic first started, I brought The Witcher 3 on PlayStation because it's so highly regarded as like one of the best video games of all time. And
Mm,
I knew the culture behind it. I knew the story behind it and all the mythology or excuse me, the lore of it. So going into the movie or excuse me, the TV show, I feel like the show was so mean to its viewers in terms of like they didn't explain shit at all. They're just like, this is the world, this is your characters, here's the adventures they're gonna go on.
hmm Yeah, there was very. I would agree with the lack of explanation or like any any explanation at all. But it was what 10 episodes, 8 episodes the
Mm-hmm.
first season.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though, the very end was worth it. At least in my opinion. When it all came together and I fully understood what was going on, I was like, holy shit, this makes sense. Now I'm excited.
Right.
Now that like and also like halfway through, like obviously when it was in the past, like eventually I could catch on that it was in the past, but I would always be like, well, it never mentioned that it's in the past, so is it not? Am I just making it up? But along the way you could tell that it was the past, but because there was no explanation, I was kind of second guessing myself.
I couldn't
But the
tell until
end,
someone told me.
you couldn't tell until someone told you.
No, well, when it was the first episode, when it was like a flashback, and The Witcher was at, he was at the Queen's uh party or something, and you kind of
Yes,
saw the Queen
yes.
again. I'm thinking like, oh, that actress looks just like the Queen that died in like the first episode. And someone told me like, no, that's because it is. This is a flashback. I'm like, what? Like, how about explaining that shit? Just say 12 or like years earlier.
Uh, yeah, exactly. That would have saved a lot of confusion. But I don't know. I'm excited for season two. And I saw that like in Netflix, you know how it says like new and popular or whatever,
Hmm.
and it tells you like what's coming up. The Witcher I think is coming up in December.
Yeah, it
I
is. It's
literally put a
releasing in
reminder
December.
for it. I was like, remind me because I'm really excited to see season two.
Yeah, it's definitely releasing in or December.
Lock and Key was a good show too.
Oh,
I don't know
I
if you
know
have
that
that
one. I
name.
didn't watch it though.
It's shot in Canada, I believe. That one too, if I'm not mistaken. That one was interesting. That was a really interesting concept for a show. Season two is coming out in October. I'm excited for that. Let's see if they can keep up the
Yeah, Lock and Key.
interestingness.
After their dad's murder, three siblings move with their mom to his ancestral estate where they discover magical keys that unlock powers and secrets. All right, so yeah, that's
Mhm.
cool and all, but that description sounds like every other thing they're trying to put out now.
It does. I'm not gonna lie, but it was a really cool concept that like these keys open up certain doors and like either they like they said they have magical powers or like it does something or it leads to like a different dimension. Like it's just really interesting on how they find the keys and like how they're I guess using the keys powers
Right.
um and stuff like that.
I'm gonna sh-
It's like what 10 episodes for like 30 minutes.
right. All right.
Oh, they're 40 minutes. I don't know.
I'm gonna send you a mini series that you'll love because it's basically that only 20 times better. So this one's called The Door. No, no, no. I think it's called The Room. So this
The
show.
Room I've heard of.
Okay, well, I'm gonna send it to you, and then you can tell me if you've seen it or not. Yeah, it's called The Lost Room.
Oh no, I haven't read
Okay, I just sent it to you. It's so good. It's about it's about like this police officer who stumbles upon this key that he got from some case, right? And this key can open any door, and it leads
that.
to this vacant motel room. And in this motel room, it's kind of like you're in between worlds. And he discovers that this key is just one of like hundreds of items that do really weird things, but it all leads up to something. So it's like, for example, like the key can open any door, but it always leads to,
Motel room.
it can open any door and it can get you anywhere in the world. But it all leads to this vacate motel room, right? So then there's this thing called, um, for example, what's it going? So there's like the pin. There's a pin that if you click it towards someone, it would
Mhm.
like literally just burn them into ash. And then you have something that's like a train card, and if you
Huh.
swipe it
That
at
does sound
somebody,
interesting.
they will like teleport
You
to
sent it to me?
Mexico at a certain part in Mexico. Right. And it's so it yeah, I sent it to you. And it gets so good to the point where like um the guys, so when you open the door and it leads you to the vacant room or whatever, his daughter used to put things in there
Oops.
and she would close the door and open it
Eureka.
and then things would disappear. So anything that doesn't belong in that room originally will disappear.
They
Right.
belong to you.
Unless it's one of the special items, because those special items all originated into that motel room. Right. So then plot, there was a not necessarily a plot twist, like it's just like kind of what sets it in order. His daughter
Oh.
gets trapped in the room and someone closes the door on her. So she's like disappeared. So now the only way to get her back is he has to find
That
all
does sound
of
very
these
interesting.
items that belong into the motel room and like reverse the effects.
No, no, that does sound really interesting. You're right. It
It
does seem
is
like a better
fucking
version of
awesome as
Kim,
shit.
Lock and Key.
Yeah, it's awesome as shit. And meanwhile, as we're all talking about this, the movie has ended. So normally when the movie ends, I like to ask the person, because this podcast is all about having an appreciation for movies that we necessarily don't really like or don't care to see, but other people do. So I know it's very hard because we were talking through most of it and it didn't really gauge our attention. But could you rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10? And could you find
Um,
something that you appreciate about it?
I'd probably honestly give this movie like a 4 out of 10. Like, my one comment is that everything is green in this movie. That was really
Okay.
annoying that everything was green. Yes, we did talk through the movie, but usually like whenever I'm watching movies like with my friends, like at each other's houses, and it's something that we haven't watched, we are talking through it, but yet we are paying attention to the movie and we still enjoy it. I obviously did try to pay attention to this movie as much as I possibly could while we were talking, but it
Right.
really did not, you know, it did not really interest me in any way. If I'm going to be completely honest, it was quite boring, very, 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 very boring. Yeah, like very boring. Now, if there was something that you said that I did like about it
Right.
or appreciated
I thought it
about
was
it,
boring when I first saw it in
I don't
theaters.
know, the sea monster guy did look pretty cool. Other than that, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it looked pretty cool. Like when it first came out, I was like, shit, this thing has like a
Exactly.
six pack.
That's
Like,
totally
the fuck?
Del Toro's thing.
But it did look cool. Like the creature itself. I don't even know what the creature's name was, if it ever actually gave it a name or has a name. Um, which that's kind of disappointing to not know what the name of it was, or what they call it. Then just if it's
I don't think I had a
a main
name.
part of the movie, it should have a name at least. Um, but yeah, I would say like just the creature itself looked pretty cool. But other than that, the whole goddamn movie was green, green and white.
Yeah. So if you thought the creature looked cool, then you should watch
Mm-hmm.
Pan's Labyrinth, because you'll see nothing but
Will you ever
creatures
send
like
me so
that,
many other
only
movies and TV
amped
shows?
up to
Just
like
send me
a
them too, so
thousand.
I can add them
They
to my
look
list.
incredible and it looks so awesome.
Yeah, this was just not that great of a
Yeah, I'll
movie.
just send you a picture of it because I don't know if it's anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it a 5. I thought, because this will be my second time watching it, and I kind of briefly talked about this during the movie, but I can't understand certain
Mm-hmm.
movies or I don't like certain movies to have a checkbox to fill out, and they have a somewhat of an agenda they like to bring in their movies, or whether if it's TV shows, and they put these agendas in this media so it can be regarded as such quote unquote good content. So, for example, this movie showed a lot of people would say this movie is LGBT positive, and that blows my mind because there's just
Yeah, I
one
would not
tiny little
categorize this
scene
as
of
an
the guy that
LGBT
said that
like
he's gay and
movie
he tried
or
to make a pass at the
like
waiter
anything.
guy at the diner. Right. But that's what people would say. They say like, "Oh, this movie has that." The same what they would say with Lady Bird, and then they would also say this movie talks about racism. This movie is, it's
Yeah,
you know,
no.
it's Black Lives Matter positive. And yeah, it's very interesting that
Yeah,
movies do
like if
that,
the movie
and
doesn't,
I don't know. I find
isn't
it,
like fully
in my
about,
opinion, I find it a bit
the
disrespectful.
LGBTQ or like Black Lives Matter, then it shouldn't be categorized as those types of movies because they're not. Yeah. No, this movie's definitely getting like a 4 out of 10. It was not good at all.
No, absolutely, I agree. Yeah, I agree. So I give this a 5. I think Del Toro has done some incredible work in his career. Obviously, this ain't it. And obviously, he should have worked on this story a little bit better. Or if he, I mean, we never heard the end story of if he really did plagiarize the script for the movie. If he did, then honestly, he should have stolen some better material. Because
Yeah,
that's
right?
just, at this point, how do you steal someone's idea or you steal someone's story and it's still trash? Yeah, that's just embarrassing. So, I mean, other than that, I don't really have anything else to say
Mm-hmm.
about it. I don't think the acting was bad.
Agreed.
I think all these actors, I've seen them in other stuff,
Agreed.
so
The
they're good
acting wasn't
actors.
like
But
the issue.
this movie
Because
wasn't
like
really
like obviously there are
for
like bad movies and
acting
like
in
the
a
acting
sense.
is just so bad that like you're like, what the hell? No, the I didn't find the acting to be an issue for this movie. It was definitely more like the story. It just didn't make sense. If I'm being really honest. I mean, it made sense. It just was boring. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it just didn't
Yeah.
matter. I feel like any Gordon Ramsay show you can watch and you'll feel more invested into the characters
Hmm.
or to
Yeah.
the
No, I
contestants
definitely.
in that little 30-minute to an hour cooking show. Yeah, so yeah, this movie needs to work on that. But yeah. So that was the full episode podcast. That
Oh,
was
thank
Shape
you.
of Water
Oh, this
2017.
was a lot of
I want to
fun.
give a big shout out again to you, Noor, for
Oh my god,
joining
it was so
me
great.
and doing this podcast. Yeah, and I'm sorry that the movie was too green for you.
I did not stalk our
And
elementary teacher.
I'm sorry that I put you on blast for stalking our elementary teacher. Which is funny because I didn't even hear from her at all, which makes me think something happened to her.
No,
And I'm afraid to ask you if something happened to
no,
her
like to be
because
honest,
then
like
I'll feel like
after
I
the
would go missing
first year that I moved back from
if I
Atlanta,
keep asking you
I didn't have any
questions.
communication with her. So like I genuinely don't know where she is or what she's doing. Been years. It was just the first year that when I moved back that I had um, communication with her. 2005.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I
Wait, when
moved
did you
back in
move
like
back?
right when school ended, which was like
Oh,
May of
okay. Yeah, this is way,
2005.
way, way long ago. Okay.
And yeah, like I would say to like 2006, maybe like 2007, like a little bit of that I had like, like a few emails back and forth with her. But other than that, no, I haven't talked to her in years. I don't know where she is, what she's doing.
Well, I'm sure she's doing her best efforts to stay alive and trying to stay away
Oh
from
my
you.
god.
She did her best efforts to change her email and her address. But yeah, so yeah, that's the podcast, Starfighters. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next one. But until then, victory or death, Starfighters.
Victory or death!